Good evening, everyone. My name is Micaiah Jackson, and I manage the CTY Scholars Program at the Johns Hopkins Center for Talented Youth. This year, we are recruiting our 21st cohort of CTY Scholars. And so I'm excited to give you an overview of the program and answer any questions that you might have. So the agenda for today, of course, I'm going to give you an detailed overview of the program. And I'm going to talk about eligibility, including testing, grade levels, and income requirements. We're going to talk about the role of the educational advisor, and I'm going to go through the application, and then at the end, we'll go through a Q&A. So the CTY Scholars Program offers an incredible opportunity for high-achieving students from limited income households. We are a free college counseling and academic advising program, and we're designed to support students who are qualified to take CTY courses. Upon acceptance into the program in 8th grade, students are paired with dedicated educational advisors who guide and support them throughout their high school journey. Graduates of CTY Scholars are prepared to receive full or near full scholarships from highly selective colleges. This program opens doors to a bright future, providing invaluable support and guidance for ambitious students. So I have some words in bold here because I want to make sure that I go through them. So the program accepts students from limited income households. We do have an income cap, which is $75,000 for a family of 4. There are considerations for families who live in areas with a high cost of living, or if there are more than 4 people in the family, CTY does consider that as well. This is a free college counseling and academic advising program. And I'll talk a little bit more about the program benefits on the next slide, but we do not require that families pay for the CTY class that they can take, or travel, or the test prep that we provide to students. And we also make sure that students have educational advisors who are paid by the program. Students must be eligible to take CTY classes. I think most of you who are in this session are eligible for CTY courses, but you do want to make sure that you are qualified to take CTY classes as part of the program. And I will talk about CTY testing in one of the upcoming slides. The entry point for our program is 8th grade. So we do not accept students in 6th grade, 7th grade, 9th grade, or 10th grade. The entry point is only 8th grade. And once students are accepted into the program, they are paired with an educational advisor who will work with them throughout their 4 years of high school. So it is a long-term commitment because we are looking for our students to receive full or near full scholarships to selective colleges. And the program is for students who are motivated, ambitious, proactive, and want to go to college. In terms of the benefits of the program, this chart kind of gives you an overview of the different components. There is a CTY summer course that students can take, we pay for, and students can do the on-campus program or take an online class. I will say the vast majority of our students choose to do the on-campus class, which is a 3-week-long residential program where you're living on a college campus for 3 weeks and taking a class along with your peers. And students typically participate in that program during the summer before 9th grade. And the summer, I'll talk about eligibility and the different domains you can qualify in, but the classes revolve around math, computer science, humanities, writing, those sorts of classes. There is also the educational advisor. I'll talk more about the role of the advisor in the next slide, but they are the folks who you'll be paired with who will work with you throughout your 4 years of high school. And we have an annual leadership conference that takes place during the last week of July. It'll span about 3 days during the last week of July. And students love attending our conferences because it's an opportunity for CTY scholars from across the country to meet each other. During junior year, we work with a company that provides test prep to our students, whether it's SAT or ACT test prep. It's one-on-one prep, and it's provided virtually to students. And so that typically rolls out during junior year. And we also give students access to a college and career readiness platform. It's an interactive platform where you can do lots of career and college research, and it helps you figure out your strengths and possible areas of interest. And it's a wonderful platform that all of our students typically enjoy using. So diving into the role of the educational advisor, the advisor really serves as the student's mentor, coach, cheerleader, college counselor, academic advisor. They really are a jack of all trades. And so they work with students very closely, typically virtually, normally through Zoom, to make sure that the student is on track. So in a typical meeting with an educational advisor, which might take place anywhere from every 2 weeks to every 3 weeks, depending on the time of year, there might be a 4-week interval between meetings, depends on what the student has going on and what we're working on. So a typical meeting with an educational advisor would include an overview of how students are doing in each of their classes. So we'll review grades, progress reports. We'll talk about the classes that the student should try to make sure that they take the following year, whether they're honors, AP, or IB classes. And we'll make sure that the student is challenged. So we want to make sure that, there's a certain amount of rigor there. We don't want the student to be overwhelmed, but we do want to make sure that the student has a good balance and is taking challenging classes. We also talk with students about getting involved in activities outside of the classroom, whether they're inside of school or outside of school. We talk about extracurriculars. We do lots of career and college research. And the advisor also works with students who have completed their CTY summer program experience and might want to do a program outside of CTY. So we will encourage those students to apply to other programs. CTY Scholars does not pay for other programs, but we do assist the student with applying for financial aid to other programs. And we typically only suggest programs that offer financial aid for our students. And the educational advisor also writes letters of recommendation for scholarships, college, academic enrichment programs, things like that. Eligibility. I mentioned earlier that students must be in the 8th grade in order to apply to our program. There is the income cap of $75,000 for a family of 4, but cost of living and the number of people in the household are considered. And students must earn qualifying scores on a CTY approved test or assessment. So the vast majority of CTY scholars have taken the SCAT test or the SAT, or they've qualified through a school district assessment. So some students have taken the iReady test, and there's other tests that students can take. And the student must be in the 98th percentile of that assessment. I'm often asked about the SCAT test for students who are in 8th grade and want to apply to CTY Scholars. What score do I need? So students who are currently in 8th grade, testing before December 31st, would need to score 480 on the math section. And on the verbal, they would need to score a 458. That is if you're currently in 8th grade. So that is how SCAT testing works. And you can go to the CTY website and register to take the SCAT test if that's the test that you're interested in taking. In terms of qualifying levels, there are 2 qualifying levels for CTY. One is academic explorations, and then the other one is intensive studies. Academic explorations means that you qualify for CTY level classes, which are typically 2 grade levels above the grade that your student tested in. So CTY classes are the baseline classes that you can take. Students who are intensive studies qualifiers can take the base level CTY classes as well as the advanced level CTY classes, which are 4 grade levels above the student's grade. Some students are also near qualifiers, which means you missed the qualification score by a slim margin, and it was close enough that CTY does let you, or might let you take classes in that above level qualification. In terms of what classes you can take, there are 2 domains. So those domains are math and verbal. Students who qualify for in the verbal domain can take writing, humanities classes, and it also incorporates history and social sciences into those classes. Students who are math and science qualifiers can take engineering and computer science classes. Some students realize that they qualify in, say, verbal, but they may not have qualified in math. Those students oftentimes decide to retest to see if they qualify for math. And that is an option. We can do that. We have students in the program now who were accepted into CTY Scholars because they qualified for math or verbal, but really want the experience of taking a class in the other domain. So they decide to retest to see if they qualify for the other domain. The application is online, and it includes demographic info, information about the school the applicant is currently in, as well as the school that they might be going to next year. If you're not sure, that's fine. You can leave that area blank or just type in, I'm not sure yet. Completely fine. We know that a lot of students are applying to high schools. Especially, we have a lot of students in New York City area applying to high schools, and they don't typically find out which high school they're going to until later. So the online application includes short answer questions as well. There are a few short answer questions for students and one for the parent. It's just an opportunity for our selection committee, the committee who reviews applications, to get to know this student a little bit and kind of gauge their motivations and interest in CTY Scholars. We also require a 7th grade transcript, so that will include all of the final grades from 7th grade. And then we ask for the most recent 8th grade report card, of course, because we want to see how you're doing this year. And we require 2 recommendations, one from a teacher, core teacher preferably. So that would be a math, science, English, or history teacher. And the second recommendation can come from the school counselor or a second teacher. So that's up to you. The links to the teacher recommendations are on our website, and you can just send the teacher that link and it'll come directly to us. There is an income verification portion. I will talk about that on the next slide. And lastly, strong students will be invited to interview, and we'll interview the parent and parent or guardian and student. And the deadline for the CTY Scholars application is Friday, December 13th. With respect to the income verification, as I mentioned, there is an income cap at $75,000 for a family of 4, although we do take extenuating circumstances into consideration. I do not see the tax documents. They go directly to our financial aid office. And so you can email those directly to ctyenrollment@jhu.edu. And in the subject line, put CTY Scholars application and the student's CTY ID number. And those go directly to our financial aid office, and they will indicate to me if the family qualifies based on income. If you have not filed your 2023 taxes or were not required to do so, then you should provide a written explanation to the financial aid office, and you can email it to that CTY enrollment email address. Documents are typically processed within 7 to 10 business days. I'm oftentimes asked what the ideal applicant for CTY looks like. And I will say that always there will be a student who is ambitious and motivated and wants to attend college. Student who has self-discipline. You know, we know that you're in high school and you have a lot going on, but we want to make sure that you understand that you want to prioritize school and doing well and are academically motivated. So earning A's and B's in school is something that we look for. I would say more heavy on the A's. And we also are interested in working with students who like to participate in extracurricular activities and take on leadership roles. These programs that we offer are, you have an amazing opportunity to get to meet other students. So it'd be great if you're outgoing and enjoy meeting new people. And one of the interview questions, I'm going to give you one of the interview questions, we ask about your favorite class or classes in school. So it doesn't matter what class you're interested in, preferably a core class, but we want to know a little bit more about your interests in these classes or that one class that might be your favorite and how you express your curiosity in those classes. These two students are currently in college, or CTY. This was taken at a CTY Scholars graduation luncheon. And the student on the left, Tekla, he's studying engineering at the University of Washington in St. Louis. And Azair, our student on the right, is studying finance at Dartmouth. So we're very proud of those two students. To give some context to the typical experience of a CTY scholar, I've provided you with a visual which details one student's journey through the program. And this is the journey of a student who I advised when they were in the program. So the student initially was accepted to CTY Scholars in 8th grade, and they qualified for verbal classes. And they took a CTY summer program, and they decided to take Introduction to Logic. After taking the class, they enjoyed it, but they wanted to see if they could qualify for math classes because they had an interest in computer science. And so the student retested and he qualified for math. And from there, the student was able to take Foundations of Programming through a CTY summer class. Now, once you finish that first class that CTY pays for, you have the option to apply for financial aid to take another class if you want to. So this student took Foundations of Programming, another summer class, on-campus residential class. And then they decided to take an online class through CTY Online, and that class was called Introduction to Java. And then it was time for the student to consider other programs that they might be interested in. So we made a list of other summer programs that offered financial aid, and that student ended up applying to and being accepted to the computer science program at Carnegie Mellon University. From there, the student completed SAT prep that was covered through the CTY Scholars benefit. And then the student went through the rigorous process of applying to college, and they ended up going off to Villanova University, which is a wonderful school, as a computer science major. And before that student started classes at Villanova, we made sure that they were able to participate in a bridge program. And bridge programs are typically when the college will bring the students to campus, some students to campus, so they can acclimate themselves to taking classes, being on a college campus, living in a dorm. They can meet admissions people, professors, folks in financial aid. So it gives them a glimpse of the life of a college student and gets them acclimated to campus before everyone moves to campus and they start classes. And so that was the journey of our student, one of our students who went through CTY Scholars. And oh, I have my little highlights of students going through the program. And so when students enter our program, we really encourage them to start thinking about what they want their path to look like in the CTY Scholars Program. And it's a really exciting opportunity for students to know that they can really do anything they want. And so with our help, they can reach their goals in our program. And we love walking them through that path so that they do have a successful experience in CTY Scholars and really are able to hit the ground running when they get to college. Next steps. So check to see if you already have qualifying scores. If not, you might want to retest to see if you qualify for CTY. Make sure that CTY has your qualifying scores on file. So if you do end up taking the district assessments, the school district assessments, and you want to use those scores, you would need to make sure that they are uploaded to your CTY account so that CTY knows that you're qualified for CTY classes. You can, if you're not quite sure if you would be eligible based on income, I encourage you to go ahead and send your tax documents to the CTY enrollment office, and our financial aid office will let us know if you qualify, and then we can let you know so that you have that information before you go ahead and complete the application to the program. And it's always good to give your recommenders plenty of notice. I know they appreciate that. As someone who writes recommendations for students applying to college and scholarships, I really appreciate advanced notice when recommendations are needed. So I would get that started, and just be sure to complete the application and take time doing the short answers. You can start the application and come back and finish it. Just take time doing the short answers. You want to make sure that you've thought them through, and we want to truly get some insight into the students' interests and why they think they might be a good fit for the CTY Scholars Program. With respect to the deadline, it is Friday, December 13th. So we want to make sure that we have all applications by that time. Strong candidates will be invited to interview by January 3rd. And the interview should be wrapped up by January 17th. And our selection committee that is comprised of CTY staff members, as well as some educational advisors and former CTY students. Everyone reviews the applications during the last week of January and up to, I would say, the first 2 weeks of February. And then the decisions are going to be released during the week of February 18th. For those who are curious to know which colleges our students go off to, this is a list of schools they've matriculated to over the past 5 years. A lot of our students are have gone off to some of the same colleges. So, for example, Tufts University, we might have had 10 students over the past 5 years go to Tufts. So each school is only represented once. So this gives you an overview of colleges that our students have gone off to, and they've gotten amazing scholarships, either full or near full scholarships to these schools. And with some of the less selective schools that you see on this list, our students have been accepted to honors programs at the school. So that's really exciting as well. Frequently asked questions. I'll go through these. What is the acceptance rate? I'm asked this quite often. It varies from year to year. Sometimes we accept 20% of the students who apply. Sometimes it's 30, sometimes it's 35. It just depends on the year and the applicant pool that we have. The average income of families currently in our program is about $46,000. What if I'm over the $75,000 income cap? As I mentioned earlier, we do take that into consideration. I encourage you to reach out to the financial aid office through the CTY enrollment email address and send your tax documents over and explain any extenuating circumstances within the households. And the financial aid office will make a decision, and then we'll let you know. And someone from the CTY Scholar staff will reach out and let you know if you qualify based on income. How can I make sure that my application is competitive? I would hopefully get strong recommendations from teachers. So only ask core subject teachers or counselors who you think can submit a strong recommendation on your behalf. And I would take some time to think about the short answer questions. So you want to write a draft and review it and maybe think about it again the next day, just to make sure that you are putting your best foot forward, and just knowing that we do take the short answer questions very seriously, because it's a really good opportunity for the selection committee to get to know you, see what your motivations are, and it will give us a glimpse of, along with the rest of your application, your grades, it gives us a glimpse of your potential for success in high school. If I retest, will my new scores replace my old scores? So if you are a verbal qualifier, say, and you want to qualify for math classes, so you retest and your verbal score is lower, you don't have to worry, you still qualified for verbal based on that old score. So take that into consideration. When do students participate in summer programs? Students typically do their first summer program during the summer before 9th grade. Should I still apply for financial aid for a summer program during this process? Yes, so I definitely encourage, if you are interested in doing a CTY summer program anyway, I still encourage you to move forward with the process and apply for financial aid to the summer program, because if you receive that financial aid and you're registered for a class, if you're then accepted to CTY Scholars, we will reimburse you for whatever funds that you spent or are spending towards tuition. And that will be the first summer that is covered by CTY Scholars. So I definitely encourage you to go ahead and apply for financial aid. Also, because we accept students later in the year. So it'll be late winter-ish, and it might be a good opportunity for you to get into a class, because some of the classes fill up pretty quickly. You might want to get into a class and have that secure, and then we can always switch out the funds later and make sure that that summer is covered by CTY Scholars. Do I have to resubmit my tax documents if the financial aid office already has them? No. So if you have already submitted your tax documents to the financial aid office because you applied for a CTY summer program, just send an email to CTY Scholars and let us know, and we will have the financial aid office let us know if you qualified based on the information you already submitted. So you do not have to submit them again. What if I'm accepted to the program and I've already received financial aid for the summer? I mentioned this previously. We will just switch out the financial aid, and the summer before 9th grade will be your first summer covered by the CTY Scholars Program. What should I do while waiting to hear back regarding the application? Just continue to do your best in school. Sometimes we will ask students for more recent grades. If you apply to the program in, say, mid-November, and the selection committee is reviewing your application in January, then we might ask to see a more recent report card if the marking period ended in December. So just continue to work hard and do well in school. Here's a contact information for CTY Scholars, ctyscholars@jhu.edu. You can email us with any questions that you might have. And I also encourage you to find CTY on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to learn more about the Center for Talented Youth. I am going to stop the recording.